He fired me for going to my grandfather's funeral. 6 months later, he thought he'd mess with my career again. What he didn't know was that I was ready to burn his phone, his inbox, and his peace of mind to the ground. And I made sure every single call he got sounded like karma on speed dial. If you've ever been kicked while you were down, disrespected at your most vulnerable moment, then hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in, because today's revenge story isn't just satisfying, it's justice, handcrafted. Let me take you back to a few years ago. I was working a solid corporate job, long hours, but good benefits, decent pay, and for the most part, tolerable coworkers. I wasn't in love with the job, but I was trying to build something for myself. Stability, you know? Then out of nowhere, I got the call. My grandfather, the man who practically helped raise me, who taught me how to fish, how to be a decent human being, had passed away. It hit me like a freight train. Grief doesn't ask if your calendar's free, it just crushes you. He lived down in Florida, and I knew I had to go. Not just for the funeral, but to help settle the estate, support my family, and honestly, just breathe. I couldn't function at work while my heart was breaking. So I did what anyone would do. I went to my manager, let's call him Jason, and explained the situation. Hey, I just lost my grandfather. We were really close. I need to take some emergency PTO to attend the funeral and help out with the estate. You'd think a human being would show some compassion. Instead, Jason just stared at me and said, "Sorry, emergency PTO is denied." I was stunned. I asked about FMLA, the Family and Medical Leave Act, and he smugly informed me that grandparents didn't qualify. No emotion, no empathy, just policy. Cold corporate policy. If you leave, he said, we'll have to consider that voluntary termination. I told him I wasn't asking to leave forever, just a couple of weeks. But nope. So I said, fine, do what you have to do, but I'm going to Florida. They fired me. And if that wasn't enough of a kick in the teeth, they had the audacity to offer me a severance package, 2 weeks of pay, but only if I signed an NDA and indemnity clause. Basically, shut up, don't sue, and don't say a word about how we treated you. I refused. You don't get to erase my pain with hush money. The official termination conversation happened on August 1st, and I updated my LinkedIn profile accordingly. But apparently, that was too much for Jason's fragile ego. Because a few months later, he came crawling back with pettiness. Fast forward to January. I'm up in the middle of the night, rocking my 6-week-old newborn, running on caffeine and instinct. My phone buzzes. LinkedIn notification. Jason viewed your profile. Weird. Then minutes later, an email from LinkedIn. My employment at that company was being disputed. Jason was nitpicking the exact end date listed, saying it should be July 31st, not August 1st. Seriously? After everything, getting fired while grieving, denied basic human decency, this guy was still lurking around 7 months later, trying to shave a single day off my professional history? And here's the kicker. LinkedIn sided with him and removed the company from my profile entirely. I tried to appeal, but no dice. And since I didn't have a company email anymore, I couldn't re-verify the position. Just like that, my years of hard work gone from my resume. It was infuriating. At that point, something inside me broke. It wasn't just about a job anymore. It wasn't even about the funeral. It was about how some people, especially people in power, think they can stomp on you when you're vulnerable and just walk away clean. He fired me while I was grieving. Then months later, tried to mess with my career again when I was barely getting any sleep with a newborn in my arms. Nah, He picked the wrong sleep-deprived parent to mess with. I still had his personal cell number saved. I knew his work email. With a little digging, I found his home address and a second personal email. And I went to work. First, I signed him up for every spam list I could find. Newsletters, offers, promotional garbage, anything and everything. I'm talking crypto scams, MLM signups, free vacuum quotes, all of it. But that was just the appetizer. Next, I hit up every major moving company and real estate agency in his area. I posed as someone looking to buy a home. Budget, $800,000, enough to get some serious sales attention. I left all of his contact info, personal cell, work cell, emails, even his home address, telling them I was planning a cross-country move and needed urgent quotes. Real estate agents live for those kinds of leads, and they don't wait. They pounce. Later, a former coworker, still in Jason's department, reached out. Not because they knew what I did, but because word was spreading. Yo, Jason's phones are blowing up like crazy, nonstop. Personal, work, everything. Dude can't get through a meeting without another call. He was client-facing too. Couldn't just shut it off. I don't know if he ever pieced together where it all came from, but I timed everything so that the flood of calls would start right after he filed that petty little report with LinkedIn. I didn't destroy his life. I didn't ruin his career, but I made sure he got a taste of what it's like to be constantly harassed, overwhelmed, drowning in noise. And I slept beautifully that night. Some people think power means getting the last word, but what they don't realize is when you push a decent person too far, when you turn grief into rage, you might just get exactly what you deserve. Not from a court, not from HR, but from someone like me. Quiet, patient, but not helpless. If that revenge hit you in the soul, smash that like button. And tell me in the comments what's the pettiest yet most satisfying revenge you've ever seen. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that serve karma cold and a little spicy.